So today's a reality check on the Mike O'Hearn show on Generation Iron. And this goes back to the legends of the industry talking about more is not always better. And this is an important thing for all of you, especially you youngsters. Understand this early. We're going to talk to a guy named Dru, who I've met through Titan Medical. Now, Dru is somebody that maybe at one time took too much. But then when he came to Titan Medical, they brought his dose down to a basic HRT dosage. And the guy is still a freaking monster and twice my size and stronger than me in every aspect. It does not mean because of what he's doing. It's the secondary stuff. Again, eating right now, training smarter. This goes back to Lee Priest. This goes back to Lee Haney and all these guys saying you got to have the foundation work. You've got to work it and be precise. And then HRT can help you. The confusion here is people like Kenny KO that if in a crowd, I wouldn't even assume he worked out. But this is somebody that actually is on HRT and at one time took too much. And again, there's no visual evidence that he even trains. So the point here is do HRT for longevity and health reasons. I think we're all on board now that for a longevity and a healthy lifestyle, if your blood markers are in a good range, you could live possibly longer. And it can also help you recover. And so that's the point of this show today, is to understand there are two sides of this thing. One side is you think you're going to take a little bit and become a monster. No, but you may become a monster in life and live your truly best life. But again, the other side of this is if you think you're going to take so much and become a freak of nature and be able to do this for 40, 50 years, that again is visually evident with some of these people that were taking this stuff, too much stuff, and they don't even look like they train. So let's get into this. And this is an important one for you again, you youngsters. Do not set yourself up to fail in life by starting this stuff young, like so many of these influencers talk about. Oh, get on it. It's okay. You can do this for the next 40 years. I mean, Greg Doucette is a great example of somebody that says, oh, Mike's been on it since he was in high school, junior high school, and I'm still here closing in on 60. It's like, that's misleading. That's the stuff that's going to hurt people. Let's be smart about this. Let's get into the show, man. We got so much to cover. I've learned a lot over the 4 decades of health and fitness and being in the trenches with the greatest in the world. And one of those things I've learned a lot more about and how to build better muscle is nutrition and how it has changed over the decades. And that's why I have the Titan meal plan for you guys out there that are confused about nutrition. I'm going to set you straight. Get a hold of me today. The link will be in the comments down below for you guys. Everybody, get over to the Titan meal plan, and I'll see you in the Titan crew where I will fine tune any difficulties that you're having. Big Dru.
What's going on?
Well, first, thanks for taking time today. I know today is Monday and it's a crazy day for you, and you hustle.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
But I mean, I saw it for real in those 3, 4, 5 days I was over there. You don't stop, kid.
Yeah.
Not in front of me, you didn't.
Yeah, it's kind of ongoing. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's not like I have to turn it on or off. It just stays on. I like what I do. The muscle hustle is real. So, when you do what you love, it's kind of like you don't even realize what's going on.
The muscle hustle. Please make a shirt of that, because that was brilliant.
Yeah, muscle hustle is definitely where it's at.
Something that I want everybody else out here to comprehend is we are talking to a man that stands over 6'3", 280 pounds, and is in incredible shape. And I got to meet him in person, and when I walk in a room and everybody's like, "Oh, dude, you're a lot bigger than I thought. I thought you were like a model or something like that." They forget I was a gladiator, as an athlete. But when you walked in the room, I was like, "Okay, I'm not the biggest guy no more. I got this monster here."
I don't know. You were right there. Weight-wise, we're probably the same weight when I saw you.
With that being said, you're at such a great age. I think 40 is a great age. 40, 41 is a great age because you're still young enough to tussle and push it, and you got that maturity muscle and that coming in. And people don't realize this, but that mid 30s to 40s, early 40s is that real true man strength that just really, it's I thought I could wrestle a bear. I honestly did in my mid 30s to 40s. I thought I could take a bear on and give it a good try, but you're at that stage. And I'd like to talk to you about the previous Dru, the young cat that was like, you know, like you're talking about over with Rich and those guys, and eating and putting size on and strength and just going to the extreme. I'd like to go into that and then translate into now the new Dru.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's like what you said when I was with Rich and all those guys. It was pretty much balls to the wall, whatever it takes, get as big as you can by any means. And I was actually living that way before I got with them. So it was kind of like my whole thing. Even before I had social media, I would go in the gym, eat McDonald's every day, 300 pounds with abs, just to get people's reactions. So I used to do, I was in the gym, heavy in the gym, lifting heavy, eating like crazy before I even had social media. Long story short, I met Rich Gaspari actually at a LA Fitness out here, and he saw me. He was like, you know, you're big. Do you have social media? I was like, no. And after that, I opened up social media, and then people kind of knew about me. But I've been pushing the weight, pushing the food since probably 2006 when I first started working out. First started training in like 2006. I always had a bodybuilder physique. I just never actually trained. I didn't realize how strong I was. But yeah, transitioning now, I mean, I felt great those years when I was, 305 and full of water and lubricated joints and all that. But my digestion was off. I always had heartburn. I was always chewing on Tums or taking Zantac. All the artificial colorings in food and high sodium and fast food. I was just concerned with calories, as many calories as I could. It didn't matter. My genetics, I don't have to worry about body fat. Once I got with Titan and actually got my blood work done.
Well, before you go there, because we're talking about you starting this road trip of lifting and eating in your barely 25, mid 20s, if that, right? And you're getting in there and you're hitting it. And then suddenly in a short period of time, you get to this monstrous size that I don't care if anybody's watching this. He's an anomaly. I know there's big guys around me all the time, but they're usually athletes. They're usually outside of the bodybuilding world, wrestling in that sense, or fighters and stuff. In the bodybuilding world, there's not tons and tons and tons of 6'3", 300-pound monsters walking around.
Yeah.
It's like you got there so quick and so big by eating a calorie intake. I guess you would say I guess what they were saying earlier was a dirty bulk type of diet. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, when I say hardcore, I mean like hardcore. A lot of people say they eat dirty. I mean, I was eating 10,000 calories a day, 1,000 carbs every day, no matter what. I would eat a whole box of Angel cakes. I would eat a pint of Ben & Jerry's. I would eat a whole pint of Ben & Jerry's every night with a whole family pack Oreos every night. I would eat Reese's Cups all day long. I was at Five Guys. I was at McDonald's, plus eating my regular meals, drinking weight gainer shakes, taking 20 to 30 grams of creatine every day. I did that for years and years.
And this still, though for you and your genetics, it worked for you.
It worked for me, but if I could go back, I'd probably just take a little bit more time to put the clean quality tissue on.
But why? Why you got the size, you got the strength, you got the you got what everybody wants. Yeah. Why go back and change it?
The only reason I would go back and change is because I was so uncomfortable for those years. I didn't realize it until I lost 20 pounds, and now I could shave the back of my head without having to. I could wear shoes instead of slides on heavy days and stuff like that. So it's not so much the look, it's the feeling. Like I feel
that's huge.
I feel like I found the right foods I could eat and just digest properly. I really only eat 5 different types of foods, where back then it was any and everything. So I try to eat like a dog You know, if you have a dog, you get a dog, you figure out what food's good on its stomach. And once its stomach's the right food, you just stick with the same food, eats the same food at the same time every day.
See, I love this.
If you go out of town and you take your dog somewhere else, it doesn't have its food. You go, you do your research, you find a quality food for the dog. But when the dog eats it, its digestion is all out of whack just because it's not used to that. So I only really eat 5 things and I stick with that. As soon as I have something else, even though it's healthy on paper, it just doesn't digest properly. So I'm obsessed with feeling good now.
Would you tell the youngsters, those high school kids, those college kids that are trying to put on size, the way you did it could work for them?
Yeah.
Or what would your advice for them be?
Depends what their overall goal is. If they're just trying to get bigger and stronger, then if they can get away with the fast food stuff, that's great. But then again, if you're going to have a burger and fries, I would just recommend just making your own burger and fries. Because that way you're still getting the protein, you're still getting the macros, even if it's high sodium or fat, but it's quality food, it's not processed, doesn't have all those additives. So, you get some quality grass-fed ground beef, some quality, low sodium or low sugar bread, you just kind of make it work. So I would just recommend if they have the money to do it, buy their own food and make it. If not, you got to do what you got to do. If you're a young kid, you don't have money, sometimes fast food's the best option because for $10, you can get a whole bunch of calories.
It's a great point. I just like the idea that it's, and I say this many times over, is potential or genetics you don't really know until later on after your career kind of thing. And you were genetically gifted. And so again, for you viewers out there, if you say, oh, well, it worked for Dru, listen to the full story that he's giving you. Yes, it did get him there, but it didn't get him there maybe in just that perfect way that he would like to have gotten there. That just for you youngsters, and I know that it's tough when you're, that high school and college to get the meals and get the food in, but try to prep as much as you can.
Yeah, I would say that too. Or even if you don't prep, figure out last minute situations. I feel like a lot of times people, when they cheat on their diet, it's kind of a last minute situation. They don't have any food and they try to figure out what they could do last minute. So figure out last minute situations, whether it's a gas station, whether it's a grocery store. If you don't have your meals, what are you going to do? Are you going to get a rotisserie chicken, skin it down and eat it? Are you going to get some liquid egg whites and drink those with some oatmeal? Because you don't need a stove for that. You can cook it in the microwave. So figure out ways to, make up. If the Tupperware falls and breaks, what are you going to do? You got to figure something out. Rather than go to McDonald's, have a backup so you can go into a grocery store and get what you need. And don't just get, if the body's not used to broccoli, don't have it because it looks good on paper because it'll jack you up. I know if I eat broccoli, it just tears me up. So,
well, let's jump into that now because we've kind of discovered. And we're going to talk a lot more than just today, but we discovered how you put on a lot of that size when you first started the journey of health and fitness. And again, we go back to the point of you got it by doing a kind of, I guess the new age kids call it dirty bulking. And then you checked your blood work. Am I correct on that? You met the Titan medical team and you checked your blood work?
Yeah, I never got blood work done before, even all those years when I was putting on so much size and out of breath. I never got my blood work checked. So when I went to Titan, I got my blood work checks and my test level was like 400. I didn't know what that meant. I thought it was like 4 times higher than what it should. I didn't know. And then they were like, no, that's about half, or, you should be at 850, 900. So I didn't know. So that was like the first thing, like, wait a minute, and at the time, I believe I was, close to 300 pounds with abs and stuff.
How old were you at this time?
This is 5 years ago. It's been about 4 or 5 years.
So mid-30s.
Yeah. So when I first went, my test level was less than half what it should be. So I'm like,
wait, just for you guys at home, you imagine this guy walking in there, 300 pounds with abs, 6'3", and his T level is half of what a regular person would be.
Yeah, it was exactly 408. I remember, I still have it. It was 408. I didn't know what that meant. So, I know everything about all that stuff now, but at the time I didn't know. So I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, if I'm, benching 500 twice a week, 300 with abs, just like what you say, and my test is only half what it should be, how am I going to feel if it gets normal? So once I started with HRT and, you know, got my levels up to 850, 900 where they should be, I just started feeling better. I had more energy. I don't know, my weight went down, but then again, I cleaned up my diet. So I literally went from one extreme I went from whatever it takes, get as big as you possibly can, to getting your blood work regulated, checking everything, and going from, you know, one extreme to the other. So now it's just like it's a lifestyle. I couldn't see myself going back to eating McDonald's and all that stuff. I couldn't do it. Like, I'd probably throw up if I had, you know, 4 or 5 Big Macs like I used to, like every day post workout.
So your digestion when you were younger, I think I've studied enough to realize that everybody's digestion gets a little worse as we get older and older, but you're still a young pup. But you did or didn't notice those meals played havoc on you, or they didn't when you were younger and it started to get to there? I'm just trying to find out what was the transition from going, because I don't think you need to go, you know, you're 300 pounds, you're strong, you look great. That most likely means that the inside should be pretty good. Yeah. Even though you're relatively eating a dirty bulk type of diet. What got you in the door? What made you go, let me go check this? Especially at 35 years old. It's, you know, that's still very, very young.
I mean, honestly, I probably wouldn't have ever checked it if I didn't get with Titan. But once I made a decision to go to Titan, it was kind of like part of the process. I probably wouldn't have got it checked. I probably would still be saying, yeah, I have fast metabolism, I can eat McDonald's, and still be feeling crap. So it was kind of like, I mean, you go with Titan, that's the first step. So it's kind of like the first thing I did. But now realizing that I just want to feel good. Like, I don't want to just look like a freak. I want to feel good all the time. So the difference then to now is, then I was like, I don't care if I feel like crap and I have heartburn and a headache all day, as long as I'm the biggest dude no matter where I go, and the strongest. So now it's like, I want to feel good, as long as the scale doesn't necessarily have to say 300. As long as I feel good and I look good, my waist is tight, my neck's thinner than it used to be, less water retention, the tissue's still there, I'm not losing tissue. So that's my main concern now, was just feeling good. Like, you don't realize that you feel great until you feel great. You know, so that was like the main thing with me. It's like, I thought I was great back then, but now it's like, whoa. I mean,
yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things I see that people, all the legends I've ever talked to, after they kind of moved away from the trophy chasing to life, in a sense, they didn't realize the uncomfortableness on putting on a shoe, the most simple thing in the world. But for a lot of people, they don't realize that uncomfortable, and that's a metaphor for their whole body, you know. But to get to where you are now, how do you feel now at 41, still 280 pounds, looking like a Greek god over here? And I mean,
I could be higher than 280, but I don't like to step on the scale. I literally have broken scales over the years, and with the things, so I have a scale in my spare bedroom. It stays in there. I never really go in there. Yeah.
Well, you're walking around like a Greek god, so I'm appreciative to it. How do you feel though, and how often do you check your numbers now when it comes to your blood work?
3 to 6 months. I actually just got my bloods back 2 days ago. I got my blood drawn last week. It's good to go every 3 to 6 months. If you can go even quicker than that, if you have to. A lot of times people say, you know, every 3 months or every 6 months. If you feel off, go get it checked. I mean, it's worth it. You know, it's only like with my discount or your whatever, and it's cheap. It's like, you know, $130, $150 to know what's going on with your body. You know, people spend that going out drinking on a night. You know, people spend that going out to get a nice dinner and stuff, and they have nothing to show for it the next day. Why not get it done, know where you're at? Because for me, before I ever got my blood work done, I relied on Dr. Google. Everything was Dr. Google. I would literally just Google everything. I had no medical care provider. I had no doctor. I had no physician I was going to see. My whole life, I've pretty much been on my own, so I just deal with stuff on my own. So if I have a toothache, headache, hurt back, I kind of just Google symptoms and deal with it. But the problem with that is if I have a headache and I'm Googling and it says I have high blood pressure, Now I'm taking high blood pressure medicine, and it might not even be my blood pressure. So I was misdiagnosing for all those years. Now, not just getting my blood work out and getting my levels right, knowing that I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have these issues. Where a lot of men, you know how men, we don't go to the doctor for anything. You know, a woman gets a hangnail, she's in the emergency room. Us, we could have a back pain or a headache for a month, and we're just like, yeah, my head's hurting me again. So I think a lot of men need to get checked more to take the worry out, because a lot of times the worry is causing more problem than the actual thing, because they're stressing all the time.
Always reminds me, you might be too young for Monty Python, but like when the guy loses
The Holy
his arm.
Grail.
Oh, it's just an arm. Come back here. You'll grow back.
Yeah.
It's a flesh wound.
Yeah, and he jumps on the horse and rides off. Yeah.
If you are confused about training, do not worry. That's what the Titan training plan is for. For you guys to subscribe to this plan, you also get the additional coaching from me in the Titan private group. Get in there today, and I cannot wait to start working with you and making your dreams come true. Let's get back to the show. Was there anything that you noticed from the change of the young you into this new venture of trying to be healthy along with muscular and size? Was there anything else besides the testosterone that you looked at on the numbers that you kind of go, oh, I'm kind of glad that I saw this? Was there any at that time? Was there anything like high blood pressure? Was there anything that the thyroid or anything like that that you looked at and said, okay, let me change some habits?
I know my estrogen was high, and I couldn't figure out why, because my test level was, now at the time I was just new to everything. Oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? Now looking back, I don't know why my estrogen was high and my test was half what it should be. Because normally if people have a high testosterone level, that's what's bringing the estrogen up. My testosterone was low, but my estrogen was high. So I was kind of out of whack. So I don't know if it's what that was from, but everything's good now. Main things I just check for is hemoglobin, blood pressure, kidney function, testosterone level, and estrogen are the main things. There's other stuff too, but my concern is just those things. As long as I'm good on those, I'm pretty much good.
Now, I know that you and I have talked about this. We talked about your eating habits now.
Yeah.
And what I love the fact of is because everybody says, oh, I'll take care of the eating habits when I'm your age, Mike.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, okay, good luck with that. Way to phone it in until then.
Yeah.
But you're doing it at 40 years old, to where you were talking about you have a small circle of foods that you continuously eat day in and day out. And they're also good. Tell us about the digestion and how you do that, and that choices that you made to do this.
Well, the first one was because I work out in the morning. So my first one was trying to figure out a meal I could have that's not too heavy on my stomach, that's still going to give me the fuel for the workout. So for all those years, I was doing, ground beef or ground turkey or steak and eggs. Now I don't do any type of meat before I train. I just do eggs, real eggs, pasture-raised, like the good eggs. I always get the best eggs I could find, the best fruit I could find, quality oatmeal. So my breakfast has been the same for 10 years now. Scrambled eggs, whole fruit, and oatmeal. It's been the same. After that, I do brown rice and steak pretty much every meal. So it gets pretty boring. I eat pretty much steak, eggs, fruit, oatmeal, jasmine rice, and occasional salmon. That's pretty much it.
Do you pull vegetables in?
The only vegetables I take right now is I take like a powder green supplement that someone gave me. A friend of mine, he's a competitive eater. He's like top in the world. So those are the guys you need to talk to get your digestion right, because they eat.
What's his name?
Bartley Weaver.
Oh, yeah, we can't pull up Bartley here. I'm just kidding, man. Bartley's awesome.
Bartley's
he
good.
comes
He's a
up.
good guy. He trains over at my gym too. I see him, but we're actually supposed to go eat last week at IHOP and do a pancake challenge. But it was kind of
how great is he?
Yeah,
he came out and stayed with me for a bit here. Gosh, I don't know how long ago it was. It seems like yesterday, but I know it's been a couple months. And we did this challenge, 2 burritos, and the burritos weigh 3 pounds each. They're huge.
Yeah.
Man, I barely ate a quarter of one of them. And this cat ate both of them, no problem. And what I love is, we're talking about Bartley's my size. And so you're talking about a guy that has no problem eating that stuff, and again, staying like what he looks like. He looks, you know, he looks just like the gladiator that he plays with the Titans.
Yeah.
But both of you guys are huge guys. But it's interesting. You stay very regimented and kind of circled, close circled to make sure the digestion works and your body works. Where he can eat anything and everything and still functions correctly.
Yeah. See, it might be the combination of probiotics and fiber and greens and stuff that he takes. I know for me, if eating all the crap food I used to eat didn't interfere with my digestion, I'd probably still be eating it. That was like the ultimate thing where it's like, I mean, there was times where I was, not using the bathroom for 2-3 days, and I'm still eating all that food. So I need to figure out something to keep me like regular and find foods that's going to pass through. I don't have a lot of fats in my diet. I don't really believe in fats. If you put some almond butter on a knife and leave it in the sink, soaking all day in soapy water, at the end of the day, it's still on that knife. So I have the same concept. We're putting fats, avocado, and oils into my stomach. As soon as I take some nutrients, it's going to get lodged in the oil and doesn't disperse properly. So for me, I basically do no fats, clean carbs, clean protein. But yeah, if that was pretty much the main thing is the acid reflux, the heartburn, and digestion. If those weren't an issue, I'd probably be sitting at a buffet somewhere going crazy.
Well, I just like the fact that nobody's born equal. And yeah. I got two pinnacle guys here. I got you and Bartley that we were speaking about. And I'll put a video up here of what Bartley looks like and how that boy can eat.
It's crazy.
But again,
he does a gallon of water in 30 seconds. He did a gallon of water. He pulled the gallon up. He literally just pushed it in his mouth. It almost made me throw up watching it. I don't know.
I just like the fact that that's the great thing about life. You never know what's going to work for you. So if you guys are out there listening to this, listen to what Dru's doing and how he's eating at this stage of the game and stuff. But then also feel free to look at Bartley and how he eats and how it works for him. We're not all cut the same. It doesn't work that way. We're all so different. But yet we're all the same humans. I love it. At this stage, where's the mindset? Where by eating like this, by training like this, what's the goal here now?
The goal is pretty much stay in 3 weeks out contest shape year round, or 4 weeks out, I guess, from a visual standpoint. So if I start I want to keep my waistline. My waist can continue to get smaller and everything continue to get skin get thinner and more quality muscle. Even if it's a pound I gain in a year, the leaner you are, every little change you see more. So I didn't really notice the changes over the years. If I go back 10 years ago and look at myself, my face was rounder, my skin wasn't as dent. It didn't have that look to it. So my main thing now is just to stay literally within 4 weeks of a show all year round, to eat clean all year round. I've pretty much been doing that for the past 2 years now. I mean, I have cheat meals here and there. When I do my sweets, I go all out. I mean, I'll do like probably every 3 weeks I have like something sweet. But for the most part, I don't snack. I just eat whole food meals. You'll never see me with chips or Slim Jims or nuts. I don't do any of that. I just do quality food meals.
Would you say right now you're in a surplus or a deficit? Usually, most of the week.
So that's another thing too, is me eating clean like this. The way I train, people that know me, I don't really post a lot of training videos, and the videos that I do post of me training is just kind of like for a clip. But people that actually know how I train, I have to take time off. Like I train so heavy and so crazy that by be eating clean now and having a fast metabolism and genetics and all that, I have to limit my training now, where now I train every other day and the volume is less, the reps are more. So my rep range now is like 5 to 8, where it used to be 20 everything. I used to be in the gym for 2-3 hours from one exercise to the next. Now it's like, let my heart rate come down. Let me get ready for this next set so I could push it and get a better quality set, as opposed to just balls to the wall. But now it's less volume, I guess, and less. Every other day has been working out good for me. Mike Menser, his stuff is, I don't really do the one set Mike Menser stuff. but I love his philosophies. I love the way he trains. I love the way he doesn't believe in crazy volume and recovery. I love all that stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about Mike Metz earlier today because it was I was around during his time, and got to be able to watch him and talk to him for a decade, and see how he trained people like Aaron Baker, Dorian, and others. Yeah, great approach. Again, I think the wisdom that you have now, being at 41 and been in the trenches for, almost 20 years, that you've learned what works for your body.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Mostly.
Yeah, it's pretty much trial and error. People always ask, why do you do this? Why do you do that? I mean, I've done everything under the sun, from supplementation to food to training to, new weight gainer shakes or all these gimmicks. I've done pretty much everything. So now over the years, it's like, okay, a more simple approach, not pushing the envelope all the time, and training smart. I've torn both biceps, so I can't really train. I mean, I still curl 100-pound dumbbells and stuff like that, but it's not like it used to be. I mean, I used to be 150-ton dumbbells. I used to be crazy, like crazy stuff, like crazy lifts. But so now it's just getting older. I guess I'm trying to fight age with quality reps and clean diet. I can't.
Best way to put it. Best way to put it, man. Fully understand that concept. Anything else you want to add? Because I think the great thing about you is that you continue to show the intelligence of weightlifting and how to do it. And I know that we can get away with so much as youngsters, like we were just talking about, how you ate as a youngster to put the size on, and you can get away with a lot of it as a youngster. What would you tell your young self besides the eating? Would you tell them anything else when it came to training and doing things?
Probably have a more set approach. Even now, I don't really have an approach. I don't have a leg day. I don't have an arm day. I just go in there and train. I probably have more of a structure. I probably squat, bench, and deadlift. Those would be the first lifts I do, where those are like the last lifts I started getting into, just to build that foundation. I probably work out more like a power lifter if I was younger, just to get that base. So I know a lot of power lifters, when they transition to bodybuilding, their squat, their deadlift, they're in that groove. A lot of bodybuilders are squatting and deadlift. They're all out of whack because we're just not used to the repetition and doing it over the years. So yeah, I would probably say just compound lifts. I would do a lot more, and probably I'd probably get social media before I did, because my prime in terms of my lifts and the crazy stuff I used to do was before I even had social media. It was probably like when I was 30, so it was like I've been doing it for 4 years in this area, and people knew about me at the gyms, but no one knew who I was. So if I could go back in time, I'll get that social media 4 years earlier so they could see all the crazy stuff I used to do. Because now
I think the kids today, I hope you guys are taking advantage of free advertising, because that's what social media is. It's free advertisement. And it confused me. You're still a youngster. You're 41, but what confuses me is a lot of guys from my era. And I'm curious on this, because you just kind of said it. They don't feel that they need social media because they won the shows, they won the big titles and did all this. So their badge of honor should represent their fame. And the one thing that I've always said to anybody and everybody, when it comes to health and fitness, you're as good as your last show, and you've got to use the free advertisement and be humble enough to go, you won. But these kids' personalities are so high level and so fun to watch that the person that's never competed will get 10 million followers compared to the guy that competed and won shows who has only 50,000 followers. So what's your advice to social media and advertising if you're trying to build a brand in your name?
More content, the better. I know people get, once people get in the routine, even when people don't really watch TV anymore. But when I was a kid, it was like all these sitcoms come in, you just have to watch every week. I would just say, steady content, do something that other people aren't doing. And not everybody can talk and have a personality on camera, but everyone has a camera. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times you'll see people, they're trying to sell a product, and they'll be talking, hey, you could buy this. like not everyone can do that. So you don't necessarily have to have the voice of a commentator or a radio host just to make videos. Sometimes people actually just want to see you. So if you don't have the voice, play some music and just show people what you're doing. People want to see what you're eating. They want to see they want to see how you eat. It's crazy. Like people want to see the weirdest things. The younger the crowd, the more they know. So, I mean, I'm not going to say copy what other people are doing, but see what's getting other people's clicks. And then just, you know, kind of doing that same thing. But the most random stuff gets the most views. I mean, you could set up a photo shoot with a tripod and the lighting and the topics and the perfect pump and the sun and all this and get half as many views as you'll get when the phone's crooked, you're in your kitchen cracking some eggs at 4 a.m. and it's like the audio's off. So, I mean, you'd be surprised what people actually like. But just stay in the mix. Like if you can't make, I'm not going to say you can't make it in bodybuilding now, but I don't know any top level bodybuilders that don't have a social media influence. You know, if they do, I mean, even like Hadi Chupa, he won the Olympia. I haven't seen this guy. You know, when Big Ramy won the Olympia, where was he at? You know, so even those guys, they win the Olympia. If their content isn't there, they slowly fall off. So even if you could win the Olympia, if your content isn't valid and steady going, people lose interest.
It's a whole new world. We got to change with the times. The kids want to see it. Social media is a beautiful thing, man. Thanks for taking time today, Dru.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. Yeah,
I appreciate it. I know it was a crazy day for you and stuff, but I just wanted the world to meet you, or at least my fans to meet you.
I appreciate it. Shout out to all the Mike O'Hearn and Titans out there.
And we will see you, I think, here. My whole team will get to see you and meet you in person here in another, I guess, 4 or 5 weeks here.
Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks. November 2nd to the 5th at the Olympia. We'll be at the Titan booth, Titan Medical all day, every day. That's the reason I'm staying healthy right now. So I appreciate them. I appreciate you. And yeah, we're going to maybe get some content out there too. At the booth.
We have to lift.
Oh, yeah, definitely,
you were the nastiness about lifting got me all excited. Sorry.
Yeah. I love it. Let's do it.
All right, man. Thank you, Dru, again. I appreciate your time.
All right, Mike. Have a great day. Thanks a lot.
Bye, buddy. Learn. And again, the legends of the industry have so much to teach you if you can listen. I think a great representation is go listen to Lee Priest talk, Lee Haney, Barry DeMay. These guys have so much wisdom. And today's show is about showing you that not everybody is born with the same genetics. Steroids itself may not trigger and do what you think it may do. And by taking more for the hopes of just that short-term muscle, again, in my opinion, is not smart. Victor Martinez said it best, I think, when he said, don't do this when you're a kid. Maybe save this when you're later in life to enhance your life then, instead of using that ACE early in life. That's it. That's my show today, man. Comment below. Let me know how you like this and who you would like me to talk to next. Have a great day.